Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to talk about one-step equations and how to solve one-step equations. We're basically going to be testing you not necessarily on just getting the answer, but the process of getting to the answer. So we're going to be checking your steps. The best part about solving equations is that you can check your answer, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So basically what we want to do is let's look over here where it says what is the inverse operation. Well, first of all, we need to know what inverse means, and a good word to think of is the opposite. So think of the opposite operation. So what is the inverse operation of addition? And we all know that it is subtraction. So you're basically going to undo or the inverse operation. Okay, so step one, it says show what you do to both sides of the equation. And notice that it says both sides. So what we do to the other, or what we do to one side, we are going to do to the other. So if you look at the first problem here, y plus 4 equals 15. Well, we all know what y equals. You probably know that it is an 11. But how do we get to 11? So we want to isolate or get y by itself. So what we want to do, it says right here, we want to do the inverse operation of addition, which is subtraction. So in order to get y by itself, I need to subtract 4 from both sides. Draw a line right next to the equal sign, and then draw another line, and that will help set up your problem. So notice that, and I'll use a different color, notice that a plus 4, we always take the sign that's in front of the number. So that's a plus 4 and a minus 4, that cancels each other out, that equals 0. You don't need to put 0, you could just cross it out. What's left is this y, so bring the y down. Bring the equal sign down. And then 15 minus 4 we know is 11. So basically that's the answer. And I know you can do it in your head, but you need to be able to do the steps, the proper steps. Now, the best part about this is you can check to see if your answer works. So when you check it, all you can do is plug in the answer for a y, which is 11. So you're going to say 11 plus 4 should equal 15. Now, with equations, you want the left side to equal the right side. So what I would do then is 11 plus 4 is 15. And does 15 equal 15? Yes. So when you check it, your left side should equal your right side. All right, let's go to the next one. The one over here has a minus 7, even though there's a plus sign here. Now, a negative 7, a minus 7 is the same thing. It's taking away 7. So the opposite of taking away 7, we're going to do the opposite, which is adding 7. Okay, because if we take away another 7, that's going to be a negative 14. So we're going to do the opposite here. Even though we're adding a negative 7, but I'm going to add a positive 7 to both sides. And I'll show you why that works. A negative 7 and a positive 7 cancels out. Bring down your y. Y equals. Now you have to know your integer rules, and if you forgot, make yourself a t-chart. Okay, you have a negative 5, so put that here. You have a positive 7. Same signs, add and keep. Different signs subtract. Take the sign of the larger number. So we have more positives than negatives. So what is your answer? 2. Okay, so y equals 2. Now check it, make sure it works. So y is 2 plus a negative 7 equals a negative 5. So 2 plus a negative 7. I can also set up my t-chart again. I have a positive 2 and I have a negative 7. Subtract, take the sign of the larger number. So that would give me a negative 5. A negative 5 does equal a negative 5, so it does work out. All right, the next one. Again, we have a negative 6. We have a plus negative 6. So the opposite of a negative 6, we're going to add 6 to both sides. Draw your line, cross that out. What are you left with? Bring down your x, and x equals 18. That was an easy one. And when we check it, you're going to say 18 plus a negative 6 equals 12. and 12 equals 12. That works. Okay, we're just plugging it in. All right, the next one. X plus 13 equals 2, so we're going to subtract 13 from both sides. Draw your line, cross these out. X equals, now we have a 2 minus 13. Well, if you did your T-chart, we have a positive 2 and a negative 13. So we're going to subtract, take the sign of the larger number, which gives you a negative 11. Plug it in. So X is a negative 11 plus 13. Different sign subtract, which is 2. Take the sign of the larger number, which is positive, so it gives you 2. So 2 does equal 2. So you do need to know your integer rules here. Down at the bottom, Becky has sold 22 candy bars for a fundraiser. Her goal is to sell a total of 45 candy bars. How many more candy bars does Becky need to sell? Let C represent the number of candy bars. So if I wanted to set up this equation, C is going to represent the number of candy bars. I'm not sure what that is. She has sold 22. She wants to sell a total of 45. Now, to find what C equals, we are going to subtract 22 from both sides. Draw your line. And this cancels out. C equals 23, which represents 23 more candy bars. Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's go ahead and do the subtraction notes here. All right, same thing. We're still going to do the opposite, the inverse operation of subtraction, which is addition. So inverse, again, means opposite. And if I go too fast, just pause the video. The opposite of subtraction is addition. All right, we're going to follow the same steps. So show what you do to both sides of the equation, simplify each side, and then check your answer. So let's do m minus 5 equals 7. We're going to do the opposite, so we're going to add 5 to both sides because we want m by itself. This cancels out, and m equals 12. Circle your answer. Let's check it, make sure it works. So m we said is 12. So 12 minus 5 should equal 7. Do the left side first. 12 minus 5, it does equal 7. So yes, we were correct. All right, k minus 12 equals negative 5. We're going to do the opposite, so we're going to add 12 to both sides. Draw your lines. This cancels out because a negative 12 plus 12 equals 0. You're left with a k, and we want to find out what k equals. So again, we have a positive 12. We have a negative 5. Different signs subtract, which gives you 7. Take the sign of the larger number, which is positive. So k equals 7. Now to check it. K is 7. So 7 minus 12 equals a negative 5. Now you can do this two ways. If you have 7, you take away 12, obviously you're in the negative. Or you can kiss the problem. Remember, keep it, switch, switch. So keep it, keep the 7, switch it to addition, switch the 12 to a negative 12. So keep it, switch, switch. 7 plus a negative 12 gives you a negative 5. And negative 5 does equal a negative 5. All right, next problem. Now, these are tricky. So if you remember anything about integers, we never have double negatives, do we? So before you even start this problem, you never want to have two negatives next to each other. So you can keep it, switch, switch, or two negatives make a positive. So before you even do this problem, just do n, is that n or h? I can't tell. It's h. H plus 3 equals 8. Then solve the problem. Don't ever keep two negatives next to each other. That turns to a positive. Now you can solve it and take 3 away from both sides. When you do that, h equals 5. Now, even if you plug it back in, it will work. So if I check the problem, I'm going to plug it back in. So h, well, I got to plug it back in. Let me plug that in. So h, which is 5, 5 minus a negative 3 should equal 8. Well, again, what do you do with two negatives? You make them a positive. 5 plus 3 is 8. So yes, it does check out. All right, x minus 10 equals 4. What are we going to do to both sides? We're going to add 10 to both sides. This cancels out. X equals 14. This one was easy. And then to check it, we're going to plug it in. 14 minus 10 equals 4. 14 minus 10 is 4. And 4 does equal 4, and that's correct. Not too bad, right? All right, let's look at the bottom real quick. Jennifer won tickets playing a game at the arcade. She gave her sister 18 of them. She has 47 left. How many tickets had she won before giving them away? Let T represent the number of tickets. So, T for tickets. She did what? She gave her sister 18 of them, and she has 47 left. So if we solve the problem, what are we going to do to both sides? We're going to do the opposite. The inverse operation of subtraction is addition, so we're going to add 18 to both of them. This cancels out. T for tickets equals what? 65 tickets. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please let me know next class.